You know what's better than a grumpy Highlander that falls in love? A grumpy Highlander that is falling in love across time. Now, if you've ever wished for your soulmate to walk straight out of a foggy Scottish forest or crash into your life from the 1800s in full Regency attire, I might have fantasized about that myself. So today we are going to be talking about some of my favorite time travel romances. I've got 5 books for you to check out today that I think are definitely not your average love stories, and you may not have heard about them because we're all about giving you some hidden gems here. Hey everyone, welcome to Under the Covers. I'm Francesca, and today I have pulled 5 books that absolutely hit the mark of wrong place, wrong time, but right person. So you're gonna get a bit of history and humor and some unforgettable love stories. Now, when we talk about time travel romance, that could either be that someone from the past is traveling in time to the future or today, or someone from today is traveling back in time to the past. So these stories could be set in historical times or they could be set in contemporary times, but you're always going to have that juxtaposition of these two worlds colliding, which is something that I absolutely love. And we're not talking Outlander here today because that is probably one of the most famous time travel romances, although I definitely recommend watching the show. I have not read the books, but I definitely recommend watching the show. It's one of my absolute favorite romances of all time. I mean, who doesn't love Jamie Fraser, am I right? But actually, if you want even more than these 5 that I have here today, I have more on the blog. So I do have a whole blog post with more, and I will leave that link down below so you can check that out too. But now we're ready to go, so let's get right into the book. With the first one, we're going back in time, and it's a recent release. I absolutely loved it. It was one of my favorite historical romances that I read last year. It was super unique and fun, and it's Puck and Prejudice by Leah Riley. So this one is full of laughs and swoons. It really leans into the absurdity of it all because you have a hockey player in today's time that travels back in time to Regency England, and it actually does involve Jane Austen in the plot of the story. Actually, she is a character in the book. So the setup for this is you have a modern day pro hockey goalie, and he ends up in 1812 England after he falls into a freezing pond. He wakes up wet, confused, and standing in front of a fiercely independent Regency woman who thinks that he may be a lunatic. He's talking about the future and phones in his pocket. So while he's trying to figure out a way to get back to his time, and she may actually be buying into the plot, she comes up with the great idea that while she's helping him do that, she is also going to get something for herself, because in that time, the only way to protect her freedom in that era was to marry someone who can actually conveniently disappear. So if he does get to travel back to his time, that will actually fit the bill. So what follows is this hilarious, heartwarming romance that plays with all of the great tropes, a bit of mistaken identity, a fake marriage or fake engagement, and lots of Jane Austen style banter, while also having Jane Austen as a character because she happens to be one of the best friends of our heroine. She is still in the times of just writing Pride and Prejudice, so there's definitely lots of Easter eggs in there as well for Jane Austen fans. If you like your historical romance with a bit of modern snark and our hero has some himbo energy, then this one is an absolute must. It was so much fun. I absolutely adored it. The second is Sinful Scot by Julie Johnstone and Cecelia Mecca. So this is actually a whole series that is co-written by these authors, and this first one is perfect for the Highlander lovers who also want a little bit of mystery and legacy thrown in as well. So the premise for it is that Rhys is a billionaire in modern day New Orleans, and his father believes that his missing wife, Rhys's mother, was actually sucked back in time to medieval Scotland. So naturally, the sons try to time travel, spell themselves, and spoiler, they succeed. So Rhys wakes up in 1286, right in the middle of clan politics and sword fights and a brewing war actually for the Scottish throne. So what makes this one really stand out is Maggie, our heroine. She's super smart. She's trapped in a political engagement that she doesn't want, and she's completely unprepared for this very intense and very modern man who suddenly shows up on her land. It's a very steamy, dramatic, and full of tension kind of story, both romantic and plot-wise, and it sets up a great entire family saga of time travel that definitely will deliver. My next recommendation would be perfect if you like something a bit more gothic with your romance. So this one is perfect for that. And it's A Stitch in Time by Kelley Armstrong. This is eerie, atmospheric, and it's surprisingly an emotional read as well. It's also the first in a series, so each book explores a different ghostly time travel romance, which I absolutely adore, so I highly recommend the whole series as well. Now, the main character, Bronwyn, she inherits her aunt's manor house, and this is the same one that she used to explore as a child, and she actually thought at the time that she was just imagining a boy, kind of like her best friend, and it turns out that that boy was real. So William is still in the past, and he's still living his own timeline. So when Bronwyn returns to the manor as an adult, their worlds actually overlap again. This one is not just about the romance, although there is major slow burn romance that I absolutely love, but it's also a haunting mystery. There are literal ghosts and a lot of exploration of grief and trauma and second chances as well. It's got a perfect blend of historical and supernatural with a strong love story as well that feels very destined between the two of them. It's a bit more of the Outlander style romance, which I absolutely love. And yes, the rest of the series also gives the same kind of spooky romance and gothic atmospheric vibes, so highly recommended. The next one is another for the Austen lovers, and it's the Austen Affair by Madeline Bell. So this one is just pure fun, little bit of chaos. It's basically what would happen if two enemies to lovers that are co-stars working on a Jane Austen adaptation get sucked into a time portal during said filming of the Jane Austen movie and wake up in Regency England. Tess, our heroine, is a lovable American actress that is trying to revive her career, and she has a strong connection with Jane Austen's novels, especially through her mother who recently passed. And Hugh is a serious British method actor who has a major stick up his butt, so they can barely stand each other on set, and then lightning strikes and suddenly they are stuck in actual Regency England. So they have to improvise their way through dinner parties and marriage proposals and all of these things. So they're basically kind of like playing out another script but improvising and hoping that they can actually get back to their time. So what I loved about this book is that it doesn't really take itself too seriously. It really plays on the Regency trope while also delivering some great character growth, slow burn chemistry, and lots of hilarious moments while giving us those Easter eggs again for Jane Austen fans. It's definitely the kind of book that you can sit down and read in a single day or a single weekend and just live your best life, and you'll immediately want to recommend that to a friend so that they can also enjoy and have a good time. And then the last book that I'm going to recommend here today is also another series that you can get into, and the first book is Falling for the Highlander by Emma Prince. Now, this series is a trilogy and is written by multiple authors, so each book in the series is written by a different author, and the concept is so much fun. So there's three sisters who fall into a Scottish loch, and each of them wakes up in the 1300s. So this one in particular is Carolyn's story, and it's got all the clash of cultures and goodness that you can expect. So Carolyn is the oldest sister. She's very protective, definitely not prepared to be taken prisoner by a rugged Highland Laird who thinks that she might be useful in settling a long-standing clan feud. But she is not playing by his rules, of course, so she challenges him, she teases him, and slowly breaks down his walls. Of course, falls for him along the way. If you're looking for a medieval romance that is romantic, action-packed, and surprisingly heartfelt, then this one is perfect. And since you know that the other sisters have their own stories, it's really satisfying to go through this whole trilogy of interconnected world and get the full story arc of each of the books and see what happened to all of them. So those are the 5 time travel romances that I have to recommend to you guys here. But like I said, I have even more on the blog, including one of my all-time favorite time travel romance, which is kind of a classic that I didn't mention here on purpose. Also, some time travel romances that are heroes from the past coming to the future, so they're actually set in contemporary times. So head over to the blog if you want to check more of those out. I will leave the link to that in the description box down below. But for now, I would love to know what are your favorite time travel romances as well. So leave me a comment and let me know which ones you've read and loved, or which ones are on your TBR. And I would also love to know if you could actually time travel to another period, what would that be? I think for me, that would definitely be the Regency period. And I mean, if I could relive a kind of Jane Austen-esque experience like the Austen Affair, that would be ideal. But for today, that is all I have for you guys. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification so you don't miss any videos from us. And in the meantime, if you want even more historicals and Highlanders especially, I did do my tier ranking of my favorite Highlander heroes. So head on over to this video and check that out and see if you can guess who is my favorite Highlander of them all. I'll see you over there. Bye!